Hello and good afternoon. I'm Casey Durango of Go Keto with Casey, where I like to talk about how I've lost 97.4 pounds since starting the ketogenic protocol, how you may be able to lose weight, improve your health, and regain control of your life, like I did. Hope you're well. We are well here. Today is Saturday afternoon, and thank you for allowing me to be part of your day. I will jump right on in. First off, as always, not as always, as often, hashtag Casey's Pink Drink. I'm often asked about it. Tall glass, full of ice. Diet tonic water, a splash of diet cranberry juice, and a squeeze of lime. There you go. It's very refreshing for when I do a lot of talking, which I've already done today. So let's jump in. Quickly, for those of you who are or don't know what the ketogenic protocol is, I can explain how I learned it and how I have practiced it these many years. It's over 7.5 years now. Keep your carbohydrate intake to 20 grams or fewer a day. That's total carbs, not net carbs. Net carbs just means more carbs. If it's not on page 4, link below, don't eat it. Don't eat if you're not hungry. Stop when you're satiated. That's the protocol. And we flip from being sugar burners, glucose, to being fat burners, ketones. And if we do it right, we burn our body fat and all sorts of other things happen. But one of the things that can happen has, really nothing to do with the protocol. It has to do with our brains. I have a private support group on Patreon, and I make 20 videos a month. Every weekday morning, I make a pre-recorded video called a snippet. And the topics, for the most part, now come from the snippet topic suggestion spreadsheet, which all patrons can contribute, to which all patrons can contribute. And it's really helpful to come up with topics. But here was one that was this week, and let me read it to you. I find it is taking my brain a bit to catch up with my weight loss. I went from a size 20 pants to a 10. It seems my brain sees those size 10s and thinks, no way, I feel like a 14. I have noticed this since I first started losing. Did you experience this? Well, in a word, yes. And many people with whom I've spoken have gone through the same thing. And when I made this video and posted it this week for the patrons, lots of folks commented, yep, yep, yep. So let me tell you my experience. So, as we lose weight and get smaller, sometimes our clothes no longer fit. And so you go shopping, or in my case, I used a clothing delivery service, Stitch Fix, because I didn't like shopping, and my fat girl wardrobe had stayed pretty much the same for years. Size 24W jeans from Costco, and 3/4 length sleeve cotton button up shirts in varying colors. That was kind of it for the most part. So I needed more clothes. I'd lost about 20 or 25 pounds. And my husband said, girl, you need some new jeans. Well, I didn't like shopping anyway. So a friend had recommended Stitch Fix. And if you're familiar with the service, you kind of put your profile in. You're essentially, you make your own kind of likes, dislikes, preferences, etc., price range. And they send you a box of 5 items. And you never know what it's going to be. So I got the first shipment, and it's a really funny, long story. But as it pertains to this question, a couple of the blouses I held up, and they were the largest size that Stitch Fix had at the time. They now have expanded their sizing, but it was probably the largest that they had because I was still quite large. I'm 5'1", and so an extra 100 pounds on this frame doesn't have a lot of place to go. I was big. I was perfectly round. So I out of the clothes, and I said, "There's no way. I can't. I know, I can't." They did fit. The first pair of jeans they sent didn't. They looked like they were Barbie clothes, and I couldn't get them over my much further past over my knees. But eventually, they not only fit, I they I grew small enough that they were way too large, and that was many sizes ago. And now so I went Costco when I was buying clothes. I got the 24s, then the 22 Ws, then the 20 Ws, and the 18 Ws, and the 16 Ws, then the 16s without a W. I went all the way down to the last pair of jeans I bought at Costco, a size 6, which are the smallest ones they have. Now, I would look at them and I would say, I don't think, but I'm going to give it a try and I can always bring them back. And sometimes I would still find myself gravitating towards the larger sizes, even though I knew that I no longer wore that size. And many people have shared this. They've come home with size 2X shirts when they really intellectually know that they're a size large or a medium. Our brains have trouble catching up. To this present day, it's not unusual for me to do laundry, and I'm folding the laundry, and I hold up a pair of my own jeans, actually from Stitch Fix, because almost all my clothes now are from Stitch Fix. And they're a size, petite small. And I say, no way, I can fit in these. Well, dummy, they're in the laundry because you just wore them 2 days ago. So yes, they fit. But I always wonder when I go to slide on a pair of trousers or slip a top or a dress over my, am I going to pop out of the seams? And I don't. Why is this? I don't know. And men have reported the same thing, that they find it odd. They'll go ahead and keep notching holes in their belts and cinching up their belts instead of going to get new clothes because I think part of us, we don't want to be disappointed, men and women. We don't want to get that smaller size. Hopeful, we're hopeful. We're feeling pretty good. We've lost weight. And then we try them on and they're too tight. That can feel demoralizing. Or, now I did do this with the Costco thing because the jeans were so affordable. I would buy 2 at a time when I was losing weight pretty steadily. I'd buy the next size I pretty much knew I would fit. Then I'd buy the next smaller size, aspirational. And I went all the way through them. I don't know that this is a problem in need of a solution because it's not like a big deal other than, oh, well, I just spent money on clothes that are too big for me. I'll have to take them back. But I think it can speak to us, part of us, being afraid to give ourselves credit or kudos or a pat on the back. It's like, I don't want to acknowledge that I've lost weight because then I might jinx it. Or I don't want to buy the smaller clothes because I might jinx it. Now, there are, different lines of thought about keeping larger clothes. I don't have any. I got them out. They made me sad when I saw them, when I touched them. And I was sad for the person not the person I used to be. I felt sad for the way I felt about myself when those clothes fit. One of the most viewed videos I've ever made, I can't remember what it's titled, but the thumbnail shows me with a pained look on my face, and I've slipped on a black shell, we used to call it, or a shift, a sleeveless dress, and it was humongous on me. And the point was, when I found it randomly, I thought I'd gotten rid of all of the large size clothes, but in another closet in another bedroom was this dress suit. It was a sleeveless dress with a matching jacket, black. I probably purchased it for a funeral or something like that. It was big, like 24W. I said, "Oh my gosh," and I held it up. Whereas when I was that size, I couldn't imagine being the petite small. Couldn't imagine it. Could not conjure that image for myself. When I held up that shift, I couldn't imagine being that large. But it took a long time for my brain to make that shift. You occupy a morbidly obese body for 15, 20, 25, or in my case, 30 years. That's a long time to live inside that skin, literally. And it takes a while to realize that that skin is a different shape now. So I started doing things the opposite. I started as kind of a way to jolt my thinking, wearing clothes in colors that I never would have worn before. Red, orange polka dot. I have an orange polka dot sleeveless wraparound top. Actually, I don't anymore. It's too large, so I donated it. Orange? Me? Polka dots? Are you kidding? No way, Jose. There's a lot of red in my wardrobe. Lots of sleeveless stuff, which is the funny story about that first shipment. I won't go into detail. It's really funny about the sleeveless because, I hadn't gone sleeveless in, since 1984. So yes, it's a thing. It's a common occurrence from people that I understand from people with whom I've spoken and from my own experience. And I do think a piece of it is not wanting to jinx it, not wanting to give ourselves credit, and not wanting to be disappointed if that smaller size doesn't quite fit yet. But I got to the point where it didn't quite fit yet, but I knew that it would eventually. And that was a paradigm shift for me. That was a new way of thinking for myself. You go from, I'm pretty sure I'll never be able to lose weight or feel better, and it's all downhill from here, to I know things are getting better, and I know that I'm as healthy as can be, and I feel better than I did when I was 32. Shoot, I feel better than I did when I was in my late 20s. I grew to be pretty obese by my mid-20s. So give yourself a break. Don't be afraid to take a little bit of a risk. What's the worst thing that happens? It doesn't fit yet. Take a girlfriend or a pal shopping with you. There's a woman in our group who says that she still like, she finds herself at the 2X's. She goes shopping with a girlfriend because the girlfriend say, Debbie, no, that's not your size. Your size is over there. So someone that you trust. And then start to trust yourself. And remember that sometimes our clothes tell us that we've lost weight long before the scale does. Another thing, if the scale is freaking you out, abandon it. Go by your clothing. Go by joint pain. Go by activity level. Go by not needing a nap. Go by not needing an emergency asthma inhaler. Go by not, no longer having acid reflux. Go buy those things and go buy your clothes. There's many nurses in the group, and one nurse says it's predictable. She has her scrubs, and they'll be kind of tight, but she's losing weight. And then they go from being tight to not being tight to she's having to hitch them up. The scale may not have moved at all. So clothes are an interesting thing, and I never enjoyed shopping. It was not a fun activity for me. The clothes weren't very attractive that I saw. And now I'm kind of sassy with my clothes. I was out last night. I had a strappy top. Low cut. Not low cut, but sleeveless, but it was like spaghetti straps. Inconceivable before. I'm going to turn my attention. First of all, shameless commerce division. Just trying to earn my keep. At my Teespring store, which is, you can see links below, or at my blog, or at Amazon, you can get, this is at the Teespring store, steel water bottle, which I use, several mugs. This one says, lay off the carbs and lay off the excuses. And then with me on the back, if I can do this, you can do this, I promise. And at my blog, a spiral bound 12-month record book with habit tracker and inspirational quotes and adult coloring pages. This is at my blog. You can get the same thing, perfect bound, at Amazon, a couple of dollars cheaper, and you'll get it faster because Amazon. And is that it? Oh, and a magnet at my blog as well. Are you here out of habit or out of hunger? It's a refrigerator. And if hunger is not the problem, food is not the solution. So there's that. I'm just, like I said, trying to earn my keep. And I want to give a shout out to patrons. I have a private patron-only support group. And depending on your pledge level, you receive access to 20 videos a month recorded by me, suggestions made by the patrons, a handful of patron-only live streams on Crowdcast, and a handful of patron-only video group sessions. I am no longer, I've closed out the tier for the monthly one-on-ones because I'm fully booked. So thank you for that. Thanks to patrons. It's a privilege. Now let's see what you guys have to say about the whole thing. Oh, and I'm not scrolling. I'm just looking. Denise Anderson writes, found you through Stitch Fix video and you talked about wearing smalls and I thought I would never be that size. But here I am 2 years later wearing smalls too from Stitch Fix from size 2X. 2X to fantastic, Denise. Thank you for sharing that. I hope you used the link under my video and got a discount. Gail Rout writes, yes, the jinx thing is real. Yeah, jinx. Okay, don't anyone acknowledge that I'm losing weight, or I don't want to acknowledge it because then I'll ruin it. And that's illogical, but it's understandable. I mean, we're not going to jinx ourselves as long as we don't start eating carbs. Lay off the carbs. And physiology will take care of the rest. Nancy Hansen writes, Safaria D, you can check it out on the library too, at the library too, okay? Y'all are talking, I'm sure, about a book. Bird Lover writes, hi, Casey, hi, everyone. UAEBIF video, Bird Lover, I tell you what, those are some awesome photographs. Nancy Hansen writes, when you lose weight, you begin to have more of an interest in clothes and style. I sure did. I did the bag lady look to death. I was so mortified about the way I looked. I certainly was not going to spend decent money on clothes. Ancestral Keto Coach writes, I have several pairs of gold jeans. Now, do you put them up so that you can see them? Some people do that. They'll put them on a coat hanger and hang them on their closet door or something. Dave S. writes, I have scale aversion. I just go by how I feel and how my clothes are fitting. Perfect. If the scale does not help us, if it's not part of the solution, it can be part of the problem. So I weigh every day, but it doesn't make or break my day. Now I'm just curious. I don't want to miss that day when I lose the last 2.6 pounds so that I can say, I've lost 100 pounds since starting the ketogenic protocol. I'm actually 115 and a half pounds off the heaviest that I know of. But since starting the ketogenic, it's 97.6. Desiree Galloway. Hi, Casey, member of the club. Hi, Casey. Thank you for the motivation today. Well, thank you for being a member of the Go Keto with Casey YouTube club. Nancy Fennell writes, thanks for all you do on a continual basis. Size 32 to size 14, still traveling down. That's great. And it's so validating. And it's so great. I had a patron-only live stream before this. And I was saying I'd gone out to see some family members that were in town. I haven't seen them in a very long time. And I felt really proud of myself. I felt good when I walked into that establishment with my skinny boyfriend jeans and my gold flecked Roman sandals and my strappy top. I thought, I look good. Now, I don't know whether, third party people thought I looked good, but I felt good. And that makes a lot of difference. I mean, it's the opposite of going in and, wishing no one would look at you because you feel like such a troll, right? Not a troll like, someone from the lower part of Michigan, but a troll like an ogre. Sephoria D, I was asking for any worksheets I can print to help me. Oh, and there's lots of good things out there. Um, I mean, you don't have to buy this book, and I purposely did not put dates on here. This is not the 2021. You could start tomorrow afternoon. You don't have to wait for the next month. But habit trackers and calendars and inspiration, motivation, determination, mood tracker, inspirational. I hope they're inspirational. Mae West, you only live once, but if you do it right, once is enough. Don't trust the scale. Go with how your clothes fit. And Dave S writes, Nance, congrats. Mona, hey Mona, how are you? At first, I went to the tailor in our neighborhood, made him small my pants, coat, skirts, 2 sizes. Then I started buying new ones. It was hard to believe the weight will be consistent. It is, but if you stick to it. Now, it's not my weight loss was not 100% downward every day or even every week or even every month. I'm a normal average loser. I lost 47 pounds the first year. That's less on average than a pound a week. And then 2 years to lose the next 50 pounds. I was thrilled with the first 30. Over the moon. Aw, thanks, Judy. Judy writes, love my journal from Casey. Simona Beltran writes, can't believe my clothes are too big. Wouldn't even go near small sizes. Started with 12 to 14, now size 8 or 6 and medium and feel great. Congratulations. Victoria Rosalda, I love this. I don't know why I/we have a hard time embracing that we are getting smaller and healthier. I'm timid and embarrassed and make excuses. Quote, yes, I've lost, but I still have a long way to go. Okay. We were just talking about this on the patron only live stream. Let's not qualify our success. I encourage people because it can be hard to take compliments for one thing. You look great. You've lost weight. Oh, thank you. How much weight have you lost? 17 pounds. I have a long way to go because God forbid that we think that anybody else thinks that we feel good about ourselves. No, feel good about ourselves. We need to do that. That, no pun intended, feeds on itself. Just like when you feel badly about yourself, the worse you do, right? It feeds on itself. So let's feel good about ourselves. Yes, let's not qualify our victories. And if you have trouble taking, having someone comment on your looks, say, oh, wow, you look great. And if you're a little embarrassed, you don't have to say, oh, no, I don't. You just say, thank you, I feel great. That's it, because that's really what's the important part. And Victoria writes, I want to start celebrating with confidence. The small changes and wins, they all add up, right? We don't lose 97.4 pounds in a day, no matter what you might see on the front of some magazines. No, it takes time, and it's every 1/10 of a pound at a time. Cindy C writes, donated 6 large IKEA bags of 2 big clothes this week and still purging closets. Wore some sassy jeans to a family breakfast today, size 24 to a loose 12 and still losing. Love my keto life. Congratulations. Paula, I want to look in my closet and decide what I want to wear, not what will fit. Isn't that the truth? I I at the last minute would not show up at a, cocktail party or something that I had planned on going to because I didn't feel good about anything I had to wear. I mean, shallow, maybe that's shallow of me, but it was the truth. KC writes, I like that thought, Paula Price. Yes, that is a good one. Safaria D, isn't it more healthy to lose weight slowly than very fast? I don't know about healthy. Some people lose rapidly and consistently. It's just their body chemistry. My husband started this about 6 months after I did. He never really had a weight issue. He'd put on a little bit of weight after he turned 50. And so he lost 25 pounds in probably 3 weeks. And he's been stable ever since. I like to joke that he reached his goal weight. He started at 8:30 p.m. one night and he was at goal weight by 7:30 a.m. the next morning. It's a little bit of an exaggeration. Hey, Jell's mommy, hello. Hit a new weight low today. Feeling great. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. And this is not like, you asked such a good question. Jell's mommy is a patron. And one of her suggestions was about, if it's all food, why do we not eat? Why do we not stuff ourselves with apples or try to cram in a banana before our husband gets home, or like that, or secretly eat carrots in the closet? Well, for one thing, there's no shame associated with eating fruit and vegetables. But that's just really great. And you've been doing this a while, so it's not like you just started and today you hit a new low. You've been doing this a while. And how's Luke? Elaine Eversole, if you're asking me, do you still keep track of every bite? No, I never did really keep track of every bite. I don't. I don't know how many grams of protein I eat a day. I don't know how many grams of fat. I know that I'm as close to zero carb as I can be because that's just the way I like it. If I listen to my body, I don't have to count every bite. The challenge is not eating if you're not actually hungry, which is different than peckish, which is different than a tummy rumble, and stopping when satiated, not stopping when stuffed. What helps with that is eating more slowly, allowing leptin, the satiety hormone, a chance to get to our brain and say, okay, put on the brakes, you've had enough. 3 years. So here's inspiration for you. This beautiful person who has the greatest smile ever has been doing this for 3 years and today hit a new low. Just keep on keeping on. Ancestral Keto Coach writes, wow, your client booking is full. I'm just starting, so please send them my way if you're looking for a coach. Our ideals are very similar. Yvonne Gilman, my family came to my house for lunch. My husband asked my sister what she would like to eat. She looked across at me and said, I'll have what she's having. LOL. That's great. That scene from When Harry Met Sally, but for different reasons, not because of an orgasm. What's your thought on oxalates? I don't have any thoughts on oxalates. I think there's just a lot of words being thrown out there. No, I don't have any. I don't pay any attention. But everyone needs to do what works for them. There are a lot of self-appointed, supposed gurus who make things quite complicated because then they can try to sell you something to make it simple. Judy, hey Judy, I've been almost 4 years keto and I always wonder when this will stop working. Feels too good to be true because no other diet has ever worked for me. Love my keto life. Judy has lost 130 pounds. Okay, Safaria D, are carrots good? I just made some carrot juice with a blender to mix up with some frozen blueberries. I know carrots they're not on page 4. Neither is fruit because it's high in sugar. As a rule, vegetables that grow below the ground, like carrots, beets, sweet potatoes, white potatoes, as a rule, they grow below the ground to store sugar to feed the greens. So they're full of sugar. So no. And you're not going to get the best if you juice something. Just if you're going to eat a carrot, eat a carrot. Judy writes, you're truly an inspiration, Judy Tucker. Ancestral keto coach. My mom passed away in April. Sorry. I went off plan for 2 weeks. I'm still struggling to get back on track. Not eating until hungry helps so much. And I'm going to say this. I don't think you need to know this, but it didn't bring your mother back, did it? We tell ourselves that we're eating out of comfort. No, it's not comfort. Uh-oh. I want to see. I'm going to take a couple more, then sign off. Ron's weight loss journey. Hi, Casey. My 1-year anniversary on keto, lost 101 pounds, treated myself to buying a $100 worth of clothes. Time to purge the closet. You're the best. Fantastic. That's fantastic, Ron. Okay, Safari writes, I mixed ginger with carrots. Oh, the ginger will not reduce the carbs. There are a lot of carbs in carrots. There's a reason they're not on page 4. Amy writes, question, please. So about the eat when you're hungry thing, what's an average amount of meals in one day look like? Okay, I quit calling them meals because what's a meal? What equals a meal? What equals a snack? Some of the things I eat, people would call a snack, but it happens to be the fuel that I'm eating because that's my amount of hunger. I push the peckishness. I feel better when I do. I'm not at risk of falling out from hunger or getting hangry or having hypoglycemia. I push the peckishness. I serve myself smaller portions for sure. And then I eat slowly. So I really can't. I made a video this week, and it's just pictures of food that around here. Most of those plates of fuel I serve to my husband. Not all of them, but most of them. So you can kind of get an idea, but they're not on dinner plates. They're on luncheon plates, and some of them are on bread plates. So my husband and I have both reduced greatly the amount of food we eat because we don't need as much, because we weigh less. Not only that, but we're older. I will talk to you later. Thank you for allowing me to be part of your day. Stay safe. I'll be, keeping good thoughts for New England as Hurricane Henry bears down, keeping good thoughts for the West. Let's keep a good thought for everybody. Keep your carbs 20 grams or fewer. Total, not net. It's not on page 4. Don't eat it. Don't eat if you're not hungry. Stop when you're satiated. That's all I know. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye.